Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Beauty Designs. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew these two pieces with Ankara material. Here with my material, I have 6. Yeah, so let's get started. So I'll go ahead and cut the front top of the cloth first. So for this, I'll have to measure 2 inches. This is for the front. I'll be cutting it 1-1. So this is for the front. So I'm trying to cut out these 2 inches because I'll be using this 2 inches to fold in for where my button will be. So I'm done drafting it, and all I need to do is just pin it down all through like so. Yeah, just go ahead and pin it carefully. So the next thing is to measure out my bust. So my bust is 40 divided by 4 is 10 plus 2 inches, which is 12. So I chopped down 12 inches. I also added 1 inch extra. So I just cut it out. The next thing is to measure our shoulder. The shoulder of the client is 15 divided by 2. I have 7.5. So I just use 3 inches for the wideness. Then for this shoulder slope, I use 1.5 inches to come down. So from that my shoulder slope, I'll measure 8 inches for the round sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and connect it like so. Don't mind what I'm using to draft, guys. It can be funny sometimes. So the next thing is to measure out our bust. The bust is 40 divided by 4, which is 10, and I added 2 inches allowance for sewing. So for the down, this is the waist is 39 divided by 4, which is 9.75. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to get the clip of how I managed to cut it, but I will explain. For the neck, I came down by 3 inches, and for the armhole, I just cut it out like so. So this is what we have for the front. So the next one is for the back. I forgot to tell you guys, the length of this clothes is 25. I added 3 inches for the curve because you know that these clothes have curves at the end, the down part. So for the back, we'll be adding our shoulder. So our shoulder is 7.5. I just chalked it down like so, and I used 3 inches for the neck wideness. I'll be coming down with just 1.5 inches. So the next thing is connect the 1.5 inches already chalked to the length of the shoulders, which is 3 inches that I used. So the next one now is for our shoulder slope. I like using 1.5, so I used 1.5 here, then trim it out like so. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I have 4 inches left. So the next thing is to come down by our round sleeve. After then, we go ahead and measure our bust, add 2 inches allowance as well. Just connect it like so. This is me connecting from the round sleeve to the shoulder line. And the next thing to do now is to measure our bust. I'm trying to constrict it. So the next thing now is to measure our bust. Our bust is 9.5. I also added 2 inches allowance and connect it to the bust. And for the curve, I know I did not show you guys in the other at the front. So this is the back. I came up by 3 inches because I added 3 inches to the cloth. So to make sure that it's equal, I have to place the front to the back like so. Then all I need to do is just trim it out. You see how it's really aligning. So just go ahead and do your trimmings, and that is basically all we have to do for the cutting. So guys, I hope this was helpful. This is me trying to show you guys. So the next thing we'll be doing is to cut the trouser. So we are done with the cutting of the front. Just fold your clothes like this and keep it. So the next thing now is for our trouser. So I'll be using the flap measurements. So for this, I'll minus 2 inches of the flap, then chalk down our full length. The full length is 37. I added 2 inches for folding allowance, which is 39. So just go ahead and cut out your clothes. So the next thing now is to check for our flap. The 2 inches I minus, I'll also minus it like so. Then the flap is 12. I'll just chalk it down like so. Then the next thing is use 1 inch, connect it from your 12 inches you measured to the up. So when you get to that 12 inches area, just curve your hand like so to give it that curved shape. So So the next thing is to measure our waist, your waist divided by 4, and under the flap measure your hip divided by 4. I just added a 1 inch allowance, then I'll connect it to the waist. The next thing, you go to your bottom. For my client, bottom is 20, and what I have at the end, I have about 14 inches. So I just use 2, I chalk down 2, and the next one I chalk down 10. So from that other one I chalk down, just connect it to the hip line. Then the next thing is mark half an inch from your flap area and connect it to the 2 inches we have at the bottom. So this is what I'm trying to do. When you get to that area, just use 1 inch. So this is what I'm trying to check it. Connect it like so. So basically, this is how to draft your trouser. So just go ahead and cut it out. When you get to the flap area, be careful so that you might not spoil your flap, because in trouser, flap is the major thing that you need. Once your flap is wrong, your trouser is wrong as well. So just go ahead and trace out your measurements like this. So after then, you just take out 1 pieces from the front, measure out your back, and add 2 inches allowance. So for the back, it's supposed to be 14, but I added 2 inches allowance because the back is always wider than the front because of your hip, right? So I just chalked down 39 and I added 1 inch allowance. I will tell you guys the reason why I added that 1 inch allowance, but first of all, let's go ahead and trace out our 16 inches allowance. So for this 1 inches allowance, because of your waist, you will need to add that 1 inch allowance because of your waist. The front and the back is not usually the same, but that is for people that have big butts actually. But if it's a small size person, you can just go ahead and do your thing. So after then, just trace out the 2 inches like this, connect it to the bottom. So this is basically how to cut. Once you've gotten the front measurement, the back is not an issue. So just trace it like this. Go ahead and trace it out carefully. Trace out the other side. So we are done for our cutting of our trouser. This is all we need for the cutting of our trouser. So just pin it together and just label it back, and bring your front and label it front so that you won't go and make mistake, right? So prevention is better than cure. So just fold this out. Then the next thing we have to do is to cut the sleeve of the dress of our top, guys. So for this, I folded the material into 4. For the material length, my client says she needs 10, so the length of this dress is 10, and I'll just add 2 inches allowance for folding. I like doing both folding. I don't know about you, you can use half inch, you can use 1 inch, but I like using my folding to be very bold. So I'm trying to chalk out my 12 inches that I will be having for the length. Then the next thing is to just trim out the remaining one like so. Just go ahead and trim it out. So I'll be coming down with 1.5 inch for slope, then connect it from that upper area down like so. So the next thing you have to do is cross check it. For the round sleeve, I'll be using 20, which is 10, and for the second round sleeve is 13 divided by 4, which is 6.5. Then I added 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. So I will just go ahead and trace it out like so. So while tracing it out, be careful, guys. So I'll have to trace it out because it's really not aligning properly, just like the way I want it. So I'll just go ahead and trace it out. So basically, we are done with the cutting of our round sleeve. So this is all we have. If you know this video was helpful, make sure you subscribe, comment, and share so that you get notified whenever I drop a new tutorial. So the next thing now is to cut our pockets. I'll be using this 8 inches length for our pockets. For those of you who don't know how to cut pockets, I'll make a tutorial on how to cut pockets, but for today, just watch me as I do like this, guys. So I'm done with the cutting of the pocket. The next thing you have to do is to notch it. Go ahead and notch your pocket. For the way I notch will be the front.